excellent control.
In the middle of May, the Indians shuffled things around, partly out of necessity. They moved Sizemore out of the leadoff spot, put this guy in, and he's been doing a lot of that. Cabrera's filled in nicely for the Indians in their leadoff spot, and he spanks the first pitch of the ball game into right field.
Well, looking for the fastball, he got it right there. Since assuming the leadoff spot back on May 17th, he's hitting over 300. Got a fastball right there from Kevin Slowy and lined it into right field.
What the Indians did was move Sizemore down to the second spot in the batting order, but now he's hurt, and Ben Francisco has been swinging the bat very well over the last couple of weeks. Will hit second. And Cabrera dives back to the bag. 7 steals and 8 tries. The Indians 34 out of 46.
Yeah, they're a lot like the Twins. They have 3 or 4 guys on a ball club that can steal some bases.
Little pop-up, and we've seen 2 batters each swing at the first offering. One strike.
Why wouldn't you against Kevin Slowy? I mean, he's a strike thrower, and you know the word is out about Kevin Slowy. He's going to throw you a strike. He's going to try to get ahead. Strike 1. That's what he's so very, very good at. Kevin Slowy in his last start here against the Boston Red Sox faced 26 batters. He got strike 1 on 22 of the 26.
One hopper to Casilla. Low throw. Harris with a nice play. Morneau dug it out, but the call is safe at first base, and Cabrera is hurt at second base. It was a low throw from Casilla, which messed up Harris's footwork, and I don't know whether Cabrera might not have made contact with Harris's feet, but now Cabrera is holding his left shoulder.
I think it's the way he slid into second because of where the throw was, Dick.
Well, this is all the Indians need. This has been just a dreadful last week or so for the Indians, putting one player after another on the disabled list, and they can't get out of the first inning tonight without somebody going down.
Good reaction right there by Harris, and Cabrera maybe, right here, maybe got the knee right there or the back end of Brendan Harris.
It's like he slid into the bag and popped up and caught Harris's thigh. And Cabrera in agony near second base. The Twins just finished playing the Tampa Bay Rays, and when the Twins played them, oh, this looks terrible. When the Twins played the Rays, they had 9 players on the disabled list.
They may have dislocated his shoulder, his left shoulder.
Yep. The Indians right now have 8. Excuse me, you'll hear that a lot tonight. I got the Peter Brady puberty thing going on here. The Indians right now have 8 players on the disabled list, and Cabrera looks like he might miss some time as well.
Of the 25 players who opened the season with the Indians this year, 10 are either on a disabled list or back in the minors. And Cabrera right there holding that shoulder probably popped it out of place.
If it wasn't so sad, it would be funny. The Indians almost literally putting a different player on the disabled list every day. Yesterday it was Rafael Betancourt, their reliever. Sizemore a day or so before that. It's just been a disastrous last couple of weeks for Cleveland. They were worried about Martinez a couple of days ago. He did what Joe Creedy did. He fouled a pitch off his left knee area, missed a game, but came back yesterday and is back in the lineup today. Creedy went through batting practice and fielding drills today. In an emergency, he might be used today. The Twins hope he'll be ready to take over third base tomorrow. 1-0 to Victor Martinez. 2-0. You mentioned the few number of walks. That'll be something to watch not only tonight but throughout this series. No one in baseball has issued fewer walks than the Minnesota Twins. No one in baseball has issued more walks than the Cleveland Indians.
Yeah, Twins have walked 147. The Indians have walked 222. They walked 11 yesterday as a staff against the Yankees in Cleveland.
And a 2-0 breaking ball for a strike.
That's so important for a pitcher to do exactly what Slowy did right there. Fastball situation to a very good hitter. Martinez coming into this ball game 5th in the American League in hitting at .348. Throws something other than a fastball when you're behind an account.
It's one of the things that's been so impressive about tomorrow night's starter for the Twins, Anthony Swarzak. He's done that in his first 2 major league starts.
Well, it's called pitching, and then that's what Kevin Slowy is a pitcher. Swarzak has shown over his first 2 starts he has a good idea out there. Ben Francisco at first base, 9 stolen bases in 10 attempts.
2-1 to Martinez. A long hold and time called.
Yeah, opponents are 9 for 9 in stolen base attempts against Kevin Slowy. So he's trying to mix it up a little bit right there.
Francisco hit the ball hard. Casilla with a nice play to spear the first hopping. 2-1. And that's a sharp single to right. Francisco to second. He's wheeling for third. Span's throw comes through. It's offline. Aggressive base running by the Indians, with Francisco scampering to third base. First and third, 1 away.
Good aggressive base running right there by Francisco. And you know what? That's what Eric Wedge wants this club to do, is be more aggressive. And our Chrysler Key stat, you can see Kevin Slowy, the run support he's been able to get so far when he has started a ball game for the Twins. Tim Wakefield, Brad Penny, 2 Boston pitchers right there. And of course Texas scoring a lot of runs. And Roy Halladay off to a great start, but he's also had some good run support.
With a team that hasn't done that all the way through its rotation. Blue Jays have struggled to score some runs. First and third, 1 out, and here's Shin-Soo Choo. And there's the first pitch strike.
Well, you see the .301 batting average for Choo since May 11th. He's hitting .351 over his last 21 ball games.
One strike to the Cleveland cleanup hitter. And a check swing foul, 2 strikes.
Choo in his 4th season with the Indians. Came up to the big leagues with the Seattle Mariners and traded over for Ben Burchard back in 2006.
I think the perception is among Twins fans, and maybe throughout baseball, that Francisco Liriano is a strikeout pitcher. Slowy is second to Liriano on the team in strikeouts, and he's in a spot here where he could use one. High fastball, 1-2.
Well, Mauer sat inside and the ball was left up a little bit. See if they go back in again.
Only the Tampa Bay Rays have struck out more in the American League than the Cleveland Indians. Choo has struck out 43 times in 183 at bats. You're going to spend all night over there smirking at my voice, aren't you?
I really don't notice a difference.
2-2 to Choo.
Breaking ball in. Get him. There you go. Good fastball up and in. Went inside, then he went away with a high fastball, came back in with another high fastball, and Choo, a strikeout victim. A big strikeout right there for Kevin Slowy. And that's what you're talking about. Get the strikeout when you need it. And you can see running that fastball just over the letters, and Choo can't catch up to it. And that's one thing Kevin Slowy is very good at, too, is just taking a little on, adding a little, subtracting a little, so that hitter just doesn't get that 90-mile-an-hour fastball time in and time out.
Another guy who had a good month of May for Cleveland, Johnny Peralta, hitting .319 in May, bringing the average up to respectability. And he takes up and away, ball one. Not by choice. In fact, by necessity in many instances. The Indians have almost had the first 2 months go by like a spring training. Slow start for Peralta, a nice recovery, and a position change for Peralta from shortstop to third.
And maybe that relaxed him a little bit. They say he's doing a very good job at third. You saw the home runs. The home runs are down for Peralta. This time last year he had 11 home runs in the first couple months. He had a total of 23 last year, only with 1 so far this year.
You can only wonder what the Indians are going to do now with Cabrera hurt, severity of which is unknown, of his injury, whether the Indians might move Peralta back to short. 1-1 and 2-1.
Slowy, 25 years old, making his 11th start of the year. This is his 49th major league start. He has 23 major league wins, only 13 losses.
Two and one. And a high fastball gets a swing and a miss. The only game that Slowy has lost was that game that was played in a monsoon in Baltimore. And in reality, it was a rain shortened game. Slowy's night held to just 3 innings because of a long rain delay. Trying to pitch around a pair of singles here for the Indians in the first.
Peralta just 2 for 11 against Kevin Slowy.
And now a full count. Martinez will leave early from first. And Peralta hoping to extend the inning to get DeRosa to the plate. Full count to Johnny Peralta. On the right field line, chased by Morneau, and back into the seats.
Peralta in his 7th season with the Indians. First came up with the Indians in 2003. From the Dominican Republic, just 26 years old. And Kevin Slowy making his 6th career start against the Indian organization. He's 2-2 with a 4.35 ERA in his first 5 starts against him.
Slowy will deliver his 19th pitch of the inning. And it's a good one. The Indians get a couple of singles and leave 2 in the first. And head to the West Coast. Here's his Menard's batting order for the series opener. Denard Span leading off. Joe Mauer with phenomenal numbers in the month of May. Home, road, night, day, righty, lefty, you name it. Then Morneau, Kubel, and Harris. Young, Busher, Gomez, and Casilla.
Let's take a look at the scouting report on left-handed starter David Huff, making just his 4th major league start. Scouting report, a lot on him, just basically a sinker, slider, changeup type pitcher, and making his 4th career start. And the longest he's gone in each start is total of 4 innings. And that was his last start, and it was a rain delay, 2 hours and 40-minute rain delay, and he did not come back out, but he was pitching pretty good in that ball game.
Span, Mauer, Morneau, Kubel, 4 lefties lined up to face Huff to start the ball game for the Twins, and Span takes a strike.
Huff, just 24 years old, signed by the Indians in 2006 out of UCLA in Southern California.
It's down the left field line, and Francisco chases it. And he comes up short, 2 strikes. There's not enough of a sampling to make anything substantial out of these numbers, but left-handers this year are 6 for 17 with a couple of home runs against Huff.
Yeah, opponents came in hitting 360, left-handers hitting 353, right-handers 364. Not a lot of at-bats against this lefty. He has given up 3 home runs, 2 to lefties.
Little roller up the middle, going to be a tough play for Valbuena, and he throws and gets him 1 away.
Say that again.
Valbuena. Northland Ford defense for the Indians. Johnny Peralta is in fact back at short, and Jamie Carroll is in at third with the injury to Asdrubal Cabrera. Well, what do you do for an encore? You've had a month of May where probably should be the unanimous choice for American League Player of the Month. You've hit more home runs in 1 month than you did all of 2008. And we'll see what June brings. Strike 1. The one thing Mauer did not do extraordinarily well in the month of May was hit left-handed pitching. Mauer hitting just .250 against lefties, but hitting .493 against righties.
You know, you look at those numbers right there. I mean, that'd be a good season for a lot of guys. 11 home runs, 32 RBIs. He was able to do it in 1 month.
Inside to Mauer, 2-1, and we'll see how the Indians attack Mauer. Teams will try to find some means of getting him out.
Well, I've said it before, he's not a guy that's right on top of home plate, has very good arm extension when they're trying to bust him in right here. And Joe, what he does so well, just slaps that ball the other way.
He, like Martinez, gets a base hit to the opposite field in his first at bat.
I thought Roy Smalley in the pregame did a great job of just seeing what Joe Mauer is doing this year compared to last year. And that same swing year after year, that smooth swing, just making good contact, always getting the barrel of the bat on it, and he lines it in the left field.
And look what the Indians are doing to Justin Morneau. An exaggerated infield shift. There's nobody within 60 feet of third base.
Doesn't say much about Huff's fastball, does it?
Strike 1. So here's how the Indians are going to try to get Morneau out. Maybe play with his mind a little bit with an extreme shift. Fouled away, 2 strikes. In fact, this is even more curious than it looks, because the shortstop is right where he would be. They took Carroll, the third baseman, and put him on the right side of the infield. And he hits it right to the shortstop. A tailor-made double play ball, and the Twins are done in the first. So the shift pays off.
So that's a 6-5-3.
That's 6-5-3 double play. Get out your Twingo cards.
Welcome back to Twins Baseball. I'm Robbie Makowski. I'm hanging out in the upper deck down the left field line in the all-you-can-eat seats, sections 233 and 234. For just one low price, you visit the Fans Value Corner on twinsbaseball.com, and you can get all the hot dogs, nachos, popcorn, fountain soda, and bottled water you can eat. We've got Mara and Tracy here. We visited the two of you in the pregame. You had sodas, you had hot dogs and nachos. Tracy, what'd you have so far?
So far, I've had 2 hot dogs, a pretzel, and nachos.
2 hot dogs, a pretzel, nachos. Good. Mara, how about you?
Pretzel, nachos, hot dog, and peanuts.
And peanuts. They're outdoing you guys, Bert and Dick. We'll check in with them later in the ball game.
A little Pepto-Bismol might help, too.
Mark DeRosa leading things off for the Indians here in the second inning. He'll be followed by Val Buena. Here's a little pop fly. Left center field. That's in the air a long time. Gomez makes the catch, 1 away. Tonight's game on Fox Sports North is also being presented in high definition. For a complete listing of HD cable providers, go to foxsports.com, keyword North. I'll pass along happy birthday wishes to Julie Pergol of Chisholm, Minnesota, 100 years old today. She's a big Twins fan and never misses a game on TV. Happy birthday, Julie.
I can beat that, though. I got a note right here. Anna Radishot from Benson, Minnesota. In 17 days, she'll be 104 years old.
Another high fly to center, and Gomez comes in. Casilla lost it. Gomez kept his eye on it, makes the catch, 2 down.
And those are our biggest fans, you know that.
That's right. Saturday, your Twins will be on Fox. Justin Morneau taking on Ichiro Suzuki and the Mariners. Fox Saturday Baseball, 3 p.m. Central on Fox.
That's why during the caravans I love going to the retirement homes, because those people, they love their Minnesota Twins.
Yes. 2 down quickly here in the second inning, and that'll bring up Trevor Crow.
Plus I'm scouting them out. I'm getting out there, up there. Dale and I are about ready to look at one of those places. Shuffleboard, chess.
You don't strike me as being a chess player.
I'm not. I was thinking more of Gale.
Very quick second inning. Morneau to Slowy. And Slowy has a 1-2-3 second inning.
Smalley watching Joe Mauer get another base hit in the bottom of the first. In the pregame show, I broke down why I think he's hitting for more power. Here's a pitch thigh high last year in the middle of the plate. That was a single to left. Here's pretty much the same pitch this year. That ball is a home run in the left field seats. If we watch it from the side, you'll see what's going on. He's always been a line drive hitter, and on the left you see the single, the same approach now, and all of a sudden he sees the same pitch and he elevates that right shoulder just a little bit. This is the natural progression of a great hitter, understanding what he has to do to hit the ball out of the ballpark, even subconsciously.
Thank you, Roy. And a first pitch strike to Jason Kubel. Kubel with a very good first 2 months, taking outside a ball, but Kubel too has not handled left-handers nearly as well as righties. Kubel hitting just 171 against left-handed pitching, double that, better than double that against right-handers, and he takes inside 2-1. And the Twins will face an awful lot of left-handed pitching here. 2 of the 3 games here for Cleveland started by lefties. Cliff Lee tomorrow. Then they'll go to Seattle, face 2 left-handers there, and the Oakland A's rotation loaded with left-handed pitching. There's last year's Cy Young Award winner.
Yeah, off to a slow start just because he has not had a lot of run support. 2-6 on the year, but a very good 3.16 ERA for Cliff Lee.
Full count to Kubel, getting the Twins' second inning started. Lifted foul and out of play. Huff, more than anything else here, wants to throw a strike. Last night the Indians had a miserable night. They were battling those midges, those little bugs that showed up in the playoffs a couple of years ago. They had seagulls eating the midges and sitting in the outfield. And the worst part of it all for Eric Wedge, they walked 11 men last night. And Kubel fouls it back. Shopik with no play.
Now, do they count those seagulls as far as attendance?
The way things have gone for the Indians, they may have been tempted to do that. But I'm sure some baseball fans saw the video. They had in the neighborhood of like 100 seagulls sitting in the outfield grass. They would eat the little bugs and then go out and rest in the outfield grass. Bouncer hit right to the shortstop. 1 away. All 4 outs recorded on ground ball outs here for David Huff. And today's broadcast is on AFN, the American Forces Network, broadcasting to the U.S. Armed Forces serving in 177 countries and aboard ships at sea. They are watching around the world in Iraq, Germany, Italy, Southwest Asia, South Korea, and Japan, and we welcome all the men and women serving overseas.
Sure do. We salute you all, and God bless you all. Thank you.
Brendan Harris, the Twins shortstop, hitting 5th in the absence of Michael Kadire, who might not play at all in this series, and Joe Creedy, whom the Twins hope will rejoin the lineup tomorrow. So with those 2 right-handed hitters out of the lineup, Harris, Young, and others move up the lineup. 1-1. Just off the plate, 2-1.
Well, Huff so far working both sides of the plate
and working
changing
quickly.
Speeds. Yep, nothing wrong with that.
Just off the plate, another 3-ball count.
I mentioned his last start, that coming against the Rays back on May 28th. He pitched very good for 4 innings, and then it rained for 2 hours and 40 minutes. He did not come back.
Foul ball, and Martinez makes the catch. Frustrating at bat for Harris. 2 down. Wednesday nights are all about the hot dogs again this year. Come out tomorrow for Hormel Dollar a Dog Night, presented by Country Heart. Hormel dogs for $1 apiece while supplies last. Limit 2 per customer. You can get your tickets for the Twins and Indians tomorrow. Call 800-33-TWINS or visit twinsbaseball.com. 2 down, and here's Delman Young. Fouled away. It seems to me, and this is of course the first time we've seen Huff, but Indians have a lot of left-handers cut from the same cloth almost. Jeremy Sowers, Aaron Laffey, and now David Huff. 2 strikes.
Well, and the starter tomorrow night, Cliff Lee, he throws a little bit harder, got a little bit better breaking ball than these youngsters do. But Huff just trying to make a point right here. The Indians have used 9 different starters this year. They've used 22 different pitchers already.
Fouled off a leg, still 2 strikes.
And the thing about the 22 pitchers, a lot of those guys in the bullpen have been up and down. Perez has been up and down. There's, it's not a matter of just these guys have, been shipped out. They've been shipped out to AAA, then get called back up. They have made a lot of moves to their pitching staff, trying to find that right combination. Eric Wedge is, and Carl Willis.
Young lays off the breaking ball, 1-2.
The starters for the Indians combined ERA 5.61. That's the highest ERA in the American League. They're 12-19 as a starting staff. And Huff picks up his first strikeout.
And he's faced the minimum through 2 innings. Top of the 3rd now. Kevin Slowy facing Kelly Shopik. Swing and a miss, and Shopik has been doing an awful lot of that. 0 for 12 with a hole. There's going to be at least one of those every half inning. A whole lot of strikeouts. One and one. Shopik on the season. 93 at bats and 40 strikeouts.
And for some reason, Shopik has been hit 9 times this year. That's the most in the American League.
1-2.
Shopik last year had a really breakout year. Victor Martinez missed a lot of time behind home plate. Shopik got a chance to play. Ended up hitting .261, hit 21 home runs with 55 RBIs. Those career highs.
1-2, and a check swing rocket into the Cleveland dugout. And if it didn't hit anybody, that's the best break the Indians have had. Yeah, almost hit Cliff Lee. That's all they need. One and two. I think you saw 9 times he's been plunked. He's walked 9 times. I think A.J. Pierzynski is the only guy I've ever seen who was hit as much as he walked. 2 and 2.
There might be a reason behind that. Not the walk thing, the hit thing.
And so much of what the Indians have been forced to do requires Shoppach to be in there and catching. Victor Martinez has seen some time at first base. He's a little nicked up. Ryan Garco has struggled, hitting just .252 with 9 extra base hits. Travis Hafner, of course, out of the lineup, and so Shoppach getting a chance to catch more after, as you said, his breakout season last year when he led all American League catchers with 21 home runs. Two and two to the leadoff man here in the third. Full count.
Well, this is the 8th pitch to Shoppach, so even though he's maybe going to strike out, he's going to make Kevin Slowy throw at least 8 pitches in this at bat.
Toward the hole. Nice stop. Harris comes up firing. Oh, what a catch by Morneau.
Oh, what a play by Harris. My, oh my, what a defensive play all around. It looked like a base hit right off the get-go, off the bat of Kelly Shoppach, and Harris diving for this ball, gets up and throws it on the turf, and Justin, that little short hop pick as he falls out toward the outfield. What a great play right here. Wow, great concentration by Justin, keeping his foot on the bag.
Roy Smalley, you played some short, obviously. You also played some at first. That play is remindful of Kent Hrbek's couch potato play in the '87 playoffs.
I'm going to tell you what, the play by Brendan Harris was made right in front of me. A terrific diving play, and how quick he got up. He's got a really, really good arm, which made that play. But I don't think I've seen anyone since Kent Hrbek, or maybe before, other than Kent Hrbek, before or after, make as many plays as I've seen Justin make in the last maybe year, going back a while. Acrobatic plays, staying on the bag at the same time that he's short hopping or in between hop, catching a throw. It's just remarkable. I mean, he just has been doing it time after time. That was a terrific play by the shortstop, but it was a lights out play by the first baseman.
One down in the third, 1-1 to Jamie Carroll, making his first plate appearance as Drupal Cabrera lined the first pitch of the ball game into right field for a base hit. Then he was forced at second base, and in his contact with Brendan Harris, injured his left shoulder and left the ball game. Popped up. Harris near the bag. Makes the catch. Here's what happened in Francisco's at bat after Cabrera's leadoff single.
Well, it looks like a double play ball right off the bat of Francisco. Cabrera going in to try to break up the double play, and ends up sliding into Brendan Harris' backside, and that left shoulder really giving him a lot of pain.
7 in a row set down by Slowy, and with the exception of the Shoppach at bat, they've all come on a handful of pitches. Here's Francisco. That's pulled foul. And out of play.
Francisco in his third season with the Indians. 2007, 3 different stints with them. Last year with the Indians. Out of UCLA, signed by the Indians in 2002.
And a line drive base hit. Francisco hit the ball hard in the first inning, and he hits it hard again here in the third. A 2-out single.
Yeah, third hit off of Kevin Slowy. All of them have been singles. And the third one comes here with 2 outs in the top of the third.
Martinez got a single. Lining it sharply into right field. Pulling the ball. I might have said after Mauer got his hit that it was an opposite field hit, but Martinez pulled his to right field. To put Slowy's season so far in some perspective, he has 7 wins and 8 decisions. That's 3 more wins than Scott Baker and Francisco Liriano combined.
Now, who would have thought coming out of spring training that Baker and Liriano would be where they're at? But it's Slowy and Nick Blackburn sitting right to the left there of Baker that have really been the most consistent starters for the Twins.
And you win as a team and you lose as a team, but the reason the Twins are a couple games below 500 instead of a couple games or more above, the numbers put up by the guys Ron Gardenhire was counting on to be at the very top end of what the Twins felt was going to be a very good rotation. Liriano with an ERA of 6.60, Baker 6.32, and a combined 4-13.
Well, he's still got 4 months to go, so that's what the Twins are hoping on, that Baker and Liriano find themselves and just be a little more consistent. That's all. And hopefully, maybe the next 4 months they'll get the same run support that Kevin Slowy's been able to get the first 2 months.
2-0 to Victor Martinez. And another 2-0 off-speed pitch for a called strike.
That looked like the slider right there. The time before looked like the curveball. And what Martinez ended up doing is getting a hit on a 2-1 breaking ball to right field. Now let's see what he does right here. Same count, 2-1. Outfield playing pretty much even up for Martinez. He took a little off and just missed down and away.
3-1 with Shin Soo Choo on deck. Close at first. Seen more and more pickoffs from this Twins starting staff, and Slowy nearly picked one up there.
Well, Francisco diving back, getting that right hand on the bag. Very close play. Just able to get those fingers on the bag.
Slowy does not have a pickoff, and runners are 9 for 9 against him. 3-2.
Another changeup just took a little off.
Boy, that's got to play with your mind, doesn't it? I mean, if you're up there and all these fastball counts and you never get a fastball.
Well, that's what pitching's all about, and that's what Kevin Slowy is. This young man is a pitcher. Just 25 years old, only his 3rd season with the Twins. 12-game winner last year.
Three and 2. Slowy trying to get the Twins off the field here in the 3rd. Drive to deep right center field. Runner was off with the pitch. Gomez to the wall. Makes a great catch against the fence in right center field.
Oh, he timed his leap perfectly.
A deep drive hauled in by Gomez to end the inning. lead things off. For Busher, an important start, a rare start against a left-handed pitcher. And with all these left-handers coming up here in the next week and a half, Busher drives one to center. Trevor Crow is out there. Makes the catch, one away, a routine play, but we've had some non-routine plays as Home Depot reminds you they do more on defense.
Well, we just saw it in the top of the third inning. Brendan Harris and Justin Morneau making a great play. And then to end the inning, off the bat of Victor Martinez, Gomez crashing into the wall right here and coming up with a great catch to end the top of the third.
So one down, and Gomez now will hit. Swing and a foul, one strike. Twins have some right-handed batters who have not done well against lefties. Gomez, one of them, hitting 182. Delman Young, 161. Just off the plate, 1-1.
If the Twins want to stay in this race, the lower part of the lineup really needs to pick it up. Gomez, Young, Harris, Casilla. You know, the top of the lineup was Span and Maurer, Morneau, Kubel. And then when Kadyr's healthy and Creedy healthy, that's a very strong lineup. But you win 1 through 9, and right now 7, 8, 9 has really been struggling.
And Gomez chases out number 2.
And David Huff picks up his second strikeout.
You can submit a question to us online at carsoup.com/baseball. Eric Mansky from Eagle Lake, Minnesota, wondering what's the Twins record for most team home runs hit in a season. And the answer is 225 home runs in 1963. Herman Killebrew hit 45 that year. Bob Allison hit 35. Earl Batty 26. Jimmy Hall had his best year hitting 33. Rich Rollins hit 16. Vic Power hit 10. Zoilo Versalles hit 10. That's pulled down the line, and Casilla has an extra base hit. And he'll round second with a 2-out double.
Well, that's a side of the plate that has really been a bother to Casilla, the right-handed side. That's his first extra base hit as a right-handed hitter. A fastball stayed about letter high, and good at bat right there. Past Carroll into that left field corner. So Casilla gets his second double of the year, his first as a right-handed hitter.
And now Span in a ground ball to second, his first time up. Strike on the outside corner. I think maybe the scouting report has gone out on Denard Span too. At least David Huff is aware that you got to throw this guy a strike on the first pitch or you're in for a lengthy at bat. He threw strike 1 in the first at bat to Span. Here's a liner to right, a base hit. The number 9 hitter comes through and the leadoff hitter comes through, and the Twins have the first run of the game. Pair of 2-out hits, and it's 1-0 Minnesota.
Well, fastball middle in, and Span opened up quickly, hitting that soft line drive into right field. He picks up his 23rd RBI of the year. Look how quick his hands are right there, able to get the barrel of the bat on it, lining it into right field. And Casilla, with his speed, scores from second base.
And now Maurer, who slapped a line drive single to left, his first time up. Span diving back.
Yeah, Twins will take a look at Huff's move. Span 11 stolen bases in 14 attempts.
And they've got Span picked off. Martinez with a high throw. Not fielded by the shortstop Peralta, and Span will go to third. So Span will get a stolen base and an error charged either to Martinez or Peralta.
Yeah, that's a play that Peralta's got to be able to catch that ball right there. It was a little bit on the high side, but I think Peralta trying to come down with it and make the tag without really concentrating on the ball. The ball hitting his glove and then deflecting towards center field. We'll see who they give the error to. They give it to Martinez at first. That's his third error of the year.
And now Huff has to pitch to Mauer. Inside. When the Red Sox were here in the last homestand, I had a chance to talk with Dave Roberts, who maybe stole the biggest base in Boston history, doing some TV work for the Red Sox. And I asked him, I said, it seems to me that there are more and more base stealers simply going on first movement, that there's less of a science or less ability in reading a left-hander's move. And he said he agreed with that there are more base stealers now just simply going on first movement.
Guess they think they can outrun the ball.
A strike, and it's 2-1.
Span does get a stolen base on that, and then the error by Martinez allows him to go from second to third. So Span does steal his 12th base of the year.
2-1 to Mauer. Nice block by Shopik. It's 3-1 with Morneau on deck.
And again, this is where lineups complement each other. Justin on deck. You fall behind Joe Mauer. You say, well, first base is open, but then you look over in the right side of your eye, you say, uh-oh, there's Justin.
3-1. To center. Down for a hit. 3 straight hits and 2 third-inning runs so far. All with 2 out.
And this is where Justin probably maybe protects Joe Mauer right there, because Justin, with all the power, 14 home runs, Joe gets a fastball. And he doesn't miss it. He lines it right back up the middle. And he picks up an RBI, his 33rd of the year. And the month of June starts like it did in May for Joe Mauer. 2 for 2 so far, picking up an RBI.
And so Morneau standing in there again with this exaggerated shift put on. He hit it right into the shift. What's interesting is, we said right before Morneau grounded into the inning-ending double play, the Indians have left their shortstop, Peralta, at the shortstop position, taken their third baseman, Carroll. Now, maybe they do it differently if Cabrera isn't out of the lineup.
Well, you see, that's where Carroll is right there.
Right.
He's normally over here. Well, not there. You look at his vision right there.
You know, and especially given what the Indians have gone through, it makes perfect sense. Why have 2 players playing out of position when you can simply take a third baseman and put him out there? Now, Carroll plays second base, so it's, you know.
Yeah, Carroll's a utility.
Right, it's 6 of one, half dozen of another, but it's just, you don't see this done very often. No. Usually the shortstop will move over to the other side.
Right.
2-1 to Morneau, and a pitch taken for a strike. 2-2. All of this started with a 2-out double by Casilla. And isn't it wonderful for the Twins to see a rally started with the 9th place hitter? 3-2, and Mauer will take off early from first. Martinez will play behind him. Morneau hitting .444 against left-handed pitching. That's down the line. Mauer off with the pitch. He'll gain third. They're going to hold him. They held him late. And now Mauer gets back to the bag. Mauer rounded the bag, and it was a late stop sign by Scotty Elger that held him up.
Well, Scotty Alger put the stop sign on, but Joe Mauer had looked down to see the bag. By the time he reacted, he was almost a third of the way toward home plate. Justin just beats the shift right here by going the other way on a 3-2 pitch. You see Joe off and running. Then Francisco gets in front of that ball. You see Scotty looking to see how Francisco's going to do it. Right there, you saw Joe kind of run through it, and then the throw high toward home plate. And Joe getting back safely.
I was just going to say that, you know, another example of the importance of hitting the cutoff man. If they hit the cutoff man, they've got the third out. And Carl Willis has seen his young lefty give up 4 straight 2-out hits. And Span, Mauer, Morneau, all left-handed batters, all get hits. And another lefty waiting in Jason Kubel.
Well, for Justin Morneau, his 16th double of the year.
Kubel with a bouncer to short to lead off the second inning. Is there one more 2-out hit left for the Twins here in the third? Strike one. Before Casillas' double, Huff had set down 6 men in a row. Breaking ball over for strike 2.
A good sharp breaking ball right there. Good fastball to get strike 1, down and away, and then a breaking ball following, down and away.
Two strikes to Kubel. Pulled hard and foul.
David Huff last year won the Bob Feller Minor League Pitcher of the Year when he started the season in Double-A, promoted to Triple-A, combined 11-5 with a 2.52 earned run average. So he had a very solid year. This year started in Triple-A, was 5-1, and then got promoted to the big leagues on May 17th.
Fastball off the plate, 1-2. Mauer at third. Morneau at second. 2 runs already in here in the third. Ground ball hit to second. Valbuena makes the play to Martinez. The Twins string together 4 straight 2-out hits, score a couple of runs to give Kevin Slowy the lead. Field are putting in the seats out at Target Field.
Look, Bud's there.
The Budweiser roof deck being designated out there. One of the new features the Twins have added. Shin Soo Choo leading off the fourth for Cleveland against Kevin Slowy. Middle of the Cleveland lineup, Choo, Peralta, and DeRosa. Strike one. The Twins hope that with the calendar page turning, they can take off on a good little run like the Tigers had in the middle of May, like the White Sox have had over the last week and a half, 2 weeks, where they won, what, 5 straight series, and now they've moved ahead of the Twins in the standings.
Well, they're going to be playing some ball clubs. Cleveland last in the American League Central, then they go to Seattle and then Oakland, and both those clubs struggling. So Twins play good baseball. They have a chance before they play the Cubs in interleague play to maybe improve on that record, get over 500. That's your ultimate goal. Just get back to 500 and then hopefully put a winning streak together.
And that's where the Indians are. As dreadful as the first 2 months have been, they find themselves just 8 games back. Now it's hard to fathom making that ground up and getting out of the basement when you're losing key players every day like they have, and they may have lost Cabrera tonight to a shoulder injury. 2 strikes to Choo, and Mauer will go to the mound.
Well, again, Dick, so many games are played within your division. I mean, this is only the second time the Twins have seen the Indians. The Twins won 2 of 3 in Cleveland. This first time Cleveland's here. They're going to come back 2 more times. Twins are going to go back to Cleveland 2 more times. Right now, the Indians are 9-12 in the Central Division. The Twins are 9-8. So there's a lot of games left. 72 of the 162 ball games are played within your division.
Choo struck out on a high fastball in the first inning. It's kind of been the theme this year in baseball so far. Balance. And even though teams have struggled, they're not out of the race. Pulled to the right side, and that'll skip through for another Cleveland single. Choo aboard with a leadoff single here in the fourth. And our Aflac trivia question.
Aflac.
Who are the 3 Cleveland managers to win the American League Central Division?
Oh, my old teammate Mike Hargrove,
right.
One of those.
Eric Wedge, I think, won it. The wild card didn't come out of the Central that year when the Indians. Boy, they had the Red Sox right there, too. That ball getting away from Mauer, and Choo will advance to second base.
That ball skipping right there on Joe Mauer and then going to his left. Kevin Slowy will be charged with a wild pitch right here, right on the other side of home plate. For Slowy, his 3rd wild pitch of the year. That allows Choo with nobody out to get to second.
1-0 to Peralta. Big swing and a miss.
Yeah, we just went from Tampa, where Joe Madden was the American League Manager of the Year last year. 2 years ago, it was Eric Wedge, manager of the Indians in 2007. The Indians won 96 ball games.
I would imagine the other manager is Charlie Manuel. Up around the hands, 2-1. We're talking about the balance in baseball. There are only 2 teams in the major leagues that have not won at least 4 out of 10 games this year, that haven't played 400 baseball. Now the Indians at 415, and it's been a real disappointing first 2 months for Eric Wedge, but they find themselves just down 8 games back. The Orioles 4 games below 500, but they're only 6.5 games back in their division because up until the last couple of weeks the Yankees had been struggling. Slowy trying to protect a 2-run lead, and he's got some immediate difficulty here in the fourth. Fouled away, 3-2. Now if you're the Nationals and you're 16 games out already, you're out of it.
Well, that's kind of when I played my 5 years in Cleveland. That was kind of at the end of May. You already look forward to spring training next year because you're actually tied with everybody in spring training. When you're 20 games out at the end of May, back in the early 80s with the Indians.
3-2 to Peralta.
Struck him out on a slider.
Little fly ball hit directly at Gomez. Chu will bluff a tag, and Gomez's throw offline, one away. In the National League East, the Phillies lead by a game and a half, and really everybody in it, even the Marlins at 4 games below 500 are 6.5 out. But then the Nationals, by far the poorest record in the major leagues.
That last play right there by Gomez, there's no reason for him to throw that ball all the way in the air to third. Chu's not going anywhere. He needs to hit the cutoff man right here. You can see Busher having to leave the bag to go get it. Slowy backing him up. But that's where you just have to just throw it hard to Harris at short. You have to hit the cutoff man. He has a great arm, but there's times to show it off and there's times not to show it off. And that was not a time to show it off.
DeRosa hit a fly ball to Gomez his first time up. Strike on the inside corner, and DeRosa with some words toward Paul Schreiber.
Well, fastball inside. Joe Mauer sits inside. You can see Paul Schreiber right there, right over the head of Joe Mauer, calls it a strike.
That looked like it hit the corner and it wasn't called.
Yeah, see that one right there, that had more of the plate, I think, than the prior pitch. But you see how the umpire sets up, he doesn't move. And that's always the pitch that umpires will give you a little bit more of because of the different angle. Normally, if you're right over the catcher, that ball has to have the plate.
And another one that almost hit the outside corner.
Maybe a little high right there on that pitch. Slowy's pitch count starting to mount, 59 pitches so far. Here with 1 out in the 4th inning.
Chu got to second on a single and a wild pitch. He remains there now with 1 out. Slowy, and they got him trapped.
Run at him, yes, and run him back. Run him back.
Tagging him out himself. 1 unassisted. And a base running mistake by Chu. And DeRosa will reach on a fielder's choice.
That's exactly what you want to do as a pitcher when you field this ball, is to run that runner back to second base. Exactly what Slowy did. He gets the ball right here. Chu takes off. He picks him up. And now run him back toward second. Don't run him toward third. And Slowy ends up tagging him out himself and keeping the runner at first base.
So the Indians, who had runners at first and third, 1 out in the first and didn't get a run across, now get a runner at second with nobody out, and so far have not scored a run. Here's Luis Valbuena.
Anytime you can make a play like that without having to throw the ball, you've done a pretty good job. Sometimes, I mean, he could have fed it to Busher, and then Busher throws it over to Casilla, and then the ball goes back and forth. Always more of a chance for the ball to get thrown away. So good job right there by Kevin Slowy.
1 strike to Valbuena. 73 miles per hour on your screen. And Valbuena could have swung twice at that pitch.
Valbuena started in AAA. Columbus, a AAA affiliate for the Indians. Got called up on May 2nd. Utility infielder playing second here tonight.
1-2.
Young man, only 23 years old, from Venezuela. Came over in the Eric Bedard trade from the Mariners.
1-2. Swing and a miss. And Slowy gives up another leadoff single, but the Indians can't turn the leadoff hit into a run. Brought to you by Quest. Get free 2 gigs online backup service with Quest high-speed internet. By Grand Casino Mille Lacs and Grand Casino Hinckley. Expect grand. And by Chrysler. From power and efficiency to innovation and style, it's the way our vehicles come together that sets us apart. Chrysler. Brendan Harris takes the first pitch off the plate from David Huff. Harris, Young, and Busher facing the young Cleveland left-hander. Ball 1. Foul back, 1-1. Harris fouled out on a 3-1 pitch in the second inning when Huff had his best inning. Had a 1-2-3 inning and looked like he might put together another one in the third, but then Casilla got a 2-out double. And before Huff could get that third out, the Twins had a couple of runs. Up the middle and through for a base hit. So now 5 of the last 6 batters have gotten hits against David Huff.
Yeah, good hitting right there by Harris. Changeup, lined it right back up the middle.
There's 1 month left to vote for the 2009 All-Star Game at twinsbaseball.com. You can log on tonight, cast your votes for the Twins, who speak softly but carry big sticks like Bauer, Morneau, Kubel, Kadir. While you're at it, why don't you drop in a write-in vote for Denard Span, who's not even on the ballot. Can send the Twins to the All-Star Game in St. Louis. Vote up to 25 times at twinsbaseball.com. It's not Span's fault. He was just listed as an extra outfielder, and each team can only designate 3 outfielders, and they were listed as Kadir, Gomez, and Young. Young struck out his first time up here tonight. 1-1. Reading Joe Torre's book, and he talked about the Yankee clubs in the late 90s and how he had 2 veteran players, Bernie Williams and Kenny Lofton, as part-time players. He had to call them into the office and decide which one of those 2 former All-Stars would get listed on the Yankee ballot. So the Yankees have that issue too. Kenny Lofton lost the coin flip. That's how they decided it. They flipped a coin in Torre's office. That's deep but foul.
Well, I flipped a coin here tonight, and I got Delmon Young.
Yeah.
That's what the Twins would like to see a little bit more from Delmon Young, is a little more power. Only 1 home run on the year. That ball about shin high. Delmon last year hit 10 home runs. A couple years ago with the Rays hit 13, but a lot of baseball people say this young man has a lot of power.
What's hard to figure out, well, several things regarding Delmon Young. 110 at bats now, 37 strikeouts, and the one home run and an inordinately high number of swings and misses. One and two. There's a low foul chased by Martinez, and he can't quite get there.
Well, you look at Delmon Young's numbers. I mean, he does strike out a lot. His first full season a couple years ago with the Rays, struck out 127 times, but he hit 288. Last year, his first season with the Twins, he hit 290. He struck out 105 times, walked only 35, and hit 10 home runs. Right now, the average is down to 236, only one home run on the year.
Foul back.
So you look at Delmon Young and you say, well, he's a career 292 hitter. He's going to get better as the summer goes.
Just inside, 2-2. A chance this could be a really good night for the Minnesota Twins. Boston is leading first place Detroit. Tampa Bay is leading Kansas City. In second place Chicago, trailing 5-0 to Oakland. Right here it's 2-0. 2-2 to Young. And now a full count. Against the 37 strikeouts, just 5 walks. Busher on deck. Check swing and a foul tip. Young is called out at the plate by home plate umpire Paul Schreiber. So the second time Young has gone down on strikes.
That doesn't help my pick to stick. Huff picks up his third strikeout. Well, fastball down. It didn't look like he tipped this ball right here. Maybe just the barrel of the bat, the end of the bat. Young didn't think he did.
And Shopik caught it on the fly. Here's Busher taking outside, ball 1. Busher with a fly to medium deep center field his first time up. Say this about Huff. He's given up 6 hits, but he hasn't walked anybody. And after what Eric Wedge witnessed last night, he's got to be thrilled to death with Huff. He's had some 3-ball counts. In fact, had one to Delmon Young and didn't walk him. 2-0. Little pop up short left. Peralta out. Francisco in. Francisco staggers, makes the catch, out number 2. You've seen the Twins be pretty stingy with walks, and they are at the bottom in terms of walks allowed, and the Indians are at the top, and that's not a good sign when you look at the Twin staff coming into play today. And the Twins have walked just 147. That's a pretty big gap.
A lot of free base runners.
75 of them to be exact.
That's why the Indians lead the American League in double plays.
Gomez fouls the first pitch near the Cleveland dugout, and it's out of play. So these right-handed batters for the Twins, who have struggled against left-handed pitching, so far 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. And Huff trying to pitch around the leadoff single here in the 4th. And Gomez behind in the count, 0-2.
Huff in his major league debut on May 17th got beat up by the Tampa Bay Rays in Tampa, or St. Pete. He gave up 7 earned runs in 3 2/3 innings. Got beat up the next time in interleague play. The Cincinnati Reds scored 6 earned runs off of him. Then he had that good shutout, or 4-inning shutout baseball going. Martinez, good effort right there, but ball going into the stands.
Martinez has not tracked those foul pops very well here tonight. Of course, he's primarily a catcher, getting a chance to play some at first base, and it's a good situation for the Indians, because then if something does happen to Shoppach, they can move Martinez behind the plate and not lose the designated hitter. That's a check swing, and it's strike 3, and Gomez, like Young, down on strikes, and the Twins strand Harris after his leadoff single.
As we head to the 5th inning, I'm Robbie and Smikowski. Welcome back to Twins Baseball. I'm in the Minnesota State Lottery Winner's Circle, back in the all-you-can-eat seats. I have $100 of Minnesota Twins Lottery scratch-off tickets for Mara right here. Bert, Mara, and Tracy, remember we checked how much they were eating earlier tonight?
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes. They had. Yes. Did they eat my sign?
I'm going to show you why. Here's their sign. They're eating for 2, Bert. They're pregnant. They're eating for 2. Congratulations, Mara. You've won yourself $100 in Minnesota Twins Lottery scratch-off. Where are we at in the food count?
Another thing of peanuts and another thing of popcorn, and what else?
How about you, Tracy?
More pretzels and popcorn.
More pretzels and popcorn. They're due for another trip, baby. This is a media member's dream, this section right here. Trust me.
There might be more than one baby in those kitchens right there.
2 strikes to Trevor Crow, leading off the 5th inning for Cleveland.
Can you imagine what the babies are saying right now? Stop, Mom, stop.
Crow, Shoppach, and Carroll lined up to face Slowy here in the 5th. And Crow with a swing and a miss and an opening strikeout here in the 5th.
And Slowy picks up strikeout number 4. Good fastball, up and in.
And before Shoppach comes to the plate, see if Eric Wedge is part of our Affleck trivia answer. Charlie Manuel and Mike Hargrove, the others, we think, but what do we know?
Affleck.
Now, again, the way that we run this,
that's carryover.
It's a +2. Exactly. We got one of them right, +2. So if we don't get the answer tomorrow, we got 1 in the bank. We got 2 in the bank. Here's Shoppach taking ball 1. Shoppach had a hit taken away. A great play by Brendan Harris in the hole, and maybe even a greater play by the first baseman Justin Morneau. 1-1.
Oh, good off-speed pitch right there.
A high fly left field. Delman Young coming in. Gomez calls him off. 2 down. And that'll bring up Jamie Carroll. He's gone 7 innings in every one of his starts, and tonight he went 9.
He struck out the side in the 9th inning. 14 strikeouts and 133 pitches. Might be the best pitcher in the American League.
Outside to Carroll. Carroll entered the game when Asdrubal Cabrera left the game with a shoulder injury. With the loss, the Angels fall back to 500, and the presumption all along was, well, they've had some injuries and been a tough start for them, but by May and then into June they'll get on a roll. They might find themselves 5.5 games back in the West to the Texas Rangers, who have the best record in the American League.
Yep.
At least before tonight. The Yankees are thumping them pretty good, 12-3. Yankees have the second best record in the league. 1-2 to Jamie Carroll. Little roller to short. Easy play for Harris, and the inning ends. A 1-2-3 fifth for Kevin Slowy. Good night for the Twins so far here at the Metrodome with Robbie Ince-Mikowski, Roy Smalley, and Bert Blyleven. I'm Dick Bramer. Alexi Casilla with 2 gone in the 3rd inning cracked a double down the left field line, and the Twins backed it up with 3 more hits and scored the only 2 runs of the game. Grounder hit right at the second baseman, Valbuena, and Casilla retired, 1 down. Students with a valid ID can get into tomorrow night's game for just $4. It's Rasmussen College Student Nights presented by B96, and there's no cheaper ticket in town. Rasmussen College Student Night tickets must be purchased at the Dome. Call 833-TWINS for further details. Here's Denard Span. Drove in a run with a single in the 3rd inning. Pulled a liner down the right field line, and that plated Casilla from second base. Strike one. Breaking ball a little high, 1-1. One and two. How would you grade out David Huff so far?
Just watching him work a little bit. I like what I see so far. Young man doesn't take a lot of time between pitches. Done a good job of throwing strikes. 53 strikes, 28 balls. He has not walked anybody in the ball game. He's attacking the strike zone.
Can't get Span to bite on that breaking ball. 2-2.
He had that one little hiccup in the third inning. Casilla's double, and it all came with 2 outs. Double, RBI single by Mauer after the stolen base in the air, and then Justin's double.
Span strokes another single to center. A sharp single to center, his second hit of the ball game.
Boy, every time we see Denard Span get about 290, 280, then he just gets hot again. He's had that type of year. He came into the ball game hitting 299, and he gets a couple hits here that average back over 300, where it's been most of the year. Fastball, he came riding right back over the plate, and Span took it right back up the middle for his second hit, and the Twins' 7th.
So now Mauer. A single to left in the first, and then a single to center, driving in Span in the third. This one hit well to left field. Francisco going back. It is gone. A home run for Mauer. Three for 3 in June. And home run number 12 on the season.
Boy, he's showing unbelievable power to the other way. David Huff tried that slide step, maybe because of the last time, but that pitch right there, not a bad pitch, down, and Joe just drives it with that uppercut swing. Exactly what Roy Smalley was talking about, how that right shoulder is a little bit higher now, creating that a little more air off the bat, and that creates the home run. Roy, I know you're down there. You got to be proud of what you analyzed right there, because he did it right there.
Morneau into center field. Third straight hit for the Twins.
He sure did, Bert, and you correctly saw it again. And the difference is, I think this year he is so confident that he's already won 2 batting titles. I mean, he knows he can hit up here. I noticed him swinging just a little bit harder. He attacks the ball right at the point of impact, just a little bit harder. And I think that's the main difference. So his right shoulder is just elevating just a little bit, but you'll see the same approach, and then right at the ball he just juices it just a little bit more than he has. Before he was confident, or he was content just to line that ball to center, but now he's just giving it just a little bit extra right at the ball. And Joe was quoted in the paper as saying that last week or so in a Jim Souhan column that, his swing really hasn't changed. Well, his approach hasn't changed, but his swing really has, and he's right at the ball. He's just giving it a little bit of extra lift.
1 strike to Kubel. Hey, Roy, it wasn't this spring, obviously, because Joe couldn't do anything this spring, but last spring, the Twins and Joe spent an awful lot of time, I don't know if it was changing his swing, changing his approach, trying to get him to be more aggressive to pull the ball in hitters' counts. Now, is there such a thing as a hitter arriving at his time for that to happen, when last year, Joe spent the first month of the season last year trying to hit for more power, and he failed miserably. He didn't hit for average. He didn't hit for power. Is there such a thing as a hitter just reaching his time?
There definitely is, Dick, and I think we're seeing that with Joe right now. I watched Donnie Mattingly when we were teammates in New York. I played against George Brett. I saw him when he first came up. those guys were line drive to left field and left center field hitters, and didn't hit a lot of home runs when they first came up. And it's just a natural maturation process for a great hitter. Some pitches are just going to end up in the seats. Once they start hitting them, their bodies are going to understand kind of subconsciously, and they're going to be confident enough just to drive the ball out of the ballpark. He is such a good hitter, and he is so big and strong that there are 20 or 25 pitches that are going to show up every year that are going to be in the seats. I mean, from now on, I just really believe it. I've seen it before, and I don't think I've ever seen it with as good a hitter as what we're watching with Joe.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the word drive, but for Joe Mauer, it's driving it over the left field fence rather than over the Stanley sign out and right.
What has amazed me, Bert, he has the ability to do that. What has amazed me is, to me, there's no future in the world of pitching him away. I just don't get it. Someone at some point in time has got to make Joe prove that he can hit the ball in under his hands. Because the pitch away, at best, is going to be a single. He's going to hit 490 on a fastball away. I mean, it just is.
Harris takes a ball and then ball 2.
And at some point in time, they're going to have to see if he can handle the ball in, which, by the way, he will be able to, and he'll adjust that. You'll see some bombs to right, and then they won't know what to do. Then they'll go back out away because no one wants to give up 500-foot home runs to right field.
2-0 to Harris, and he takes low ball 3. Well, it's almost as if Mauer took yesterday's off day and reflected on his month of May, where he did everything well, but hit left-handed pitching. And said, well, maybe I ought to work on that. So now he's 3 for 3 against lefties in June.
I've seen the process with good hitters like that. Once they become comfortable, he's always been a 300 way plus hitter. Once they become comfortable, they can do that in the big leagues. Then they start expanding.
And Harris flares it foul, 3-2.
And like I said, it's almost, I don't really believe it's a conscious effort. It just is, as you said, Dick. I think you put it best. It becomes their time. When they're that good of hitters, there are going to be pitches that show up. They're going out of the ballpark. They can't help themselves.
Oh, what's exciting for Twin fans, he's just reaching his prime. And he's already won 2 batting titles, but now he's reaching his prime.
Morneau off with that 3-2 pitch, and Harris fights it off. And all of this tonight, with the manager saying he's still sore from the beating he took Saturday in Tampa Bay when he took pitches in the dirt, fouled pitches off his leg. Morneau goes again, and the pitch wrapped to third. Carroll has it across the diamond. Another good inning for the top 3 hitters in the Twins lineup. Span, Mauer, and Morneau all with hits. Mauer going deep, his 12th home run, making it 4-0. Mauer's 2-run home run, doubling the Twins' lead to 4-0. 5 shutout innings for Kevin Slowy. He'll face Ben Francisco to lead off the 6th. Knocked down by Busher. Time to set and fire. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Well, nice play right there by Busher because he knocked that ball down, then barehanded it.
Firestone leaderboard, and Victor Martinez, a great hitter. The on-base leaders, Kevin Youkilis leading the league, Victor Martinez second, and Justin Morneau third. Martinez 1 for 2. A solid single to right in the first, and then he sent Gomez to the fence in right center to haul in his deep drive for the 3rd out of the 3rd inning. Outside, ball 1. 76 pitches for Slowy and 51 strikes. Tampa Bay has beaten Kansas City 6-2. The Royals continue their slide. They started the day 2.5 games ahead of the Indians after a really good start. Just a couple weeks ago, the Royals were leading the division.
Well, they've lost 5 in a row now.
1-1 to Martinez, and now 1-2.
Slowy doing a good job of changing speeds. No walks in a ball game. Surprise, surprise. 4 punch outs. Make it 5. Another good changeup.
He has a chance to pick up his 8th win tonight. He's been Minnesota's most successful starter. Robbie Ince-Mikowski, what do you have on Kevin Slowy?
You know, not only is he close to picking up his 8th win, Dick, but he's also 1 out away from his 5th consecutive quality start in a row. And the only one he didn't win was a walk-off loss in that bad stretch in New York against the Yankees. But look at his career. Almost 24 quality starts now and 49 career appearances. His record a whopping 17-1. And when you talk to Bill Smith, the GM of the Minnesota Twins, like I did a moment ago, I said, hey, quality start, how do you view this statistic? You can look at it one way, you can look at it another way. He said, listen, when you look at quality starts, you can look back on it and say, hey, our team was in that game with a quality start, of course, being 6 innings or more pitched and 3 earned runs or less given up. And there it is, his 5th consecutive quality start going in the books.
And a couple of nice fielding plays along the way. Slowy has another 1-2-3 inning, his 3rd of the night. In the Coors Light 6th inning, and here's your Coors Light freeze cam.
Well, you can't pitch shutout baseball unless you have some great plays behind you, and there's one right there by Carlos Gomez. That ending the 3rd inning off the bat of Victor Martinez.
The Frost Brewed Coors Light Freeze Can. And we go to the bottom of the 6th inning, and the Indians go to their bullpen here after David Huff gave up 4 runs over 5 innings. Tony Sipp made quite an impression on the Twins in Cleveland in late April. Came into a tight ball game late, struck out Justin Morneau and Jason Kubel, just recently called up. Perhaps because of that.
Well, Rafael Betancourt put on a disabled list. Sipp getting recalled. He was up with the Indians from April 22nd to May 17th, then sent back to AAA Columbus. Sipp with a very good fastball, hard slider, and a changeup. Just 25 years old, out of Clemson University.
Young on a 2-0 pitch skies it to the right side. And the right fielder DeRosa makes the catch, 1 away. Quest Twins Live's going on the road to celebrate summer at Valley Fair. You can join Anthony, Marty, Roy, and Ron for a day of thrills live from Valley Fair. It all starts with a special 1-hour pregame before the Twins take on the Cubs Friday, June 12th. Quest Twins Live from Valley Fair beginning at noon. Brian Busher rolls one foul. Yeah, Sipp was put on the spot against the Twins in the one game the Indians won against the Twins. Sipp did a great job striking out the 2 left-handed batters he was asked to get. Busher takes up high, 1-1. The numbers would suggest he had problems throwing strikes after that, which is one of the reasons he was sent down. Carl Willis has had a challenge. Bouncer right side. Valbuena makes the play. Busher retired, 2 down.
Such a difference between AAA ball and the big leagues. And when you come up here and you're a little tentative and you don't want to attack the strike zone, that's what Carl Willis is dealing with. A lot of guys that are coming up and not having their success because they don't trust their stuff. They're nitpicking, and that creates a lot of walks. A little base hit after a walk, all of a sudden you're in trouble.
Here's Gomez, who has struck out twice. Inside, ball 1. And a ground ball hit right at the third baseman. Carroll makes the play, and Sipp comes in and has a quick 1, 2, 3, 6 innings. With 6 shutout innings. Here's our Quest high-speed pitch. David Huff checking in at 90 and Kevin Slowy at 92.
Yeah, Kevin Slowy so far, he's had a couple good innings here in the 5th and 6th. He needed only 17 pitches to get the 6 outs. He's retired 9 straight. And I thought David Huff did good. You know, he gave up that home run to Joe Mauer, but all in all, he impressed me.
High-speed pitch brought to you by Quest High-Speed Internet. Here's Peralta taking strike 1. Now, Aaron Laffey last night for the Indians gave Eric Wedge 5 good innings and then all of a sudden stopped throwing strikes. It all kind of fell apart for Laffey, and I don't know, maybe that's one reason why the move was made. A little dribbler to short. Harris over to Morneau, and Peralta's retired. 10 in a row set down now by Kevin Slowy. Dodge game summary.
Well, go back to the 3rd inning with 2 outs. Bernard Span with Alexi Casilla at second base after he doubled. Gets an RBI. And then the stolen base and the error allows Joe Mauer to pick up an RBI. And then Joe Mauer in the 5th inning. His 12th home run of the year, a 2-run home run, giving the Twins a 4-0 lead.
Slowy can't make the fielding play. Casilla does. And a quick second out with DeRosa retired on a ground ball. Well, Slowy was just marvelous against the Indians in Cleveland, and he's backed that up with another great outing here tonight.
It's almost the same type of game right here. He had a 4-0 lead. This time of the game, the Twins scored a couple in the 7th and 8th to take a 7-0 lead. And then Kevin Slowy did give up a run going out to the 9th with that shutout. I'm sure Kevin Slowy would like to get that shutout here tonight. Doing a good job, especially the last 3 innings, getting that pitch count down.
This will be his 85th pitch, trying to get his 21st out. Twins don't have a complete game yet, a win or a loss. And there's a strike. Off the mound, and it skips into center field. A 2-out single.
Well, Kevin had retired 11 straight. A fastball right underneath the glove of Slowy into center field. 5th hit for the Indians, all of them singles.
Trevor Crowe will hit a ground ball to Morneau and then struck out in the 5th. Crowe getting a chance to play in center field with Grady Sizemore out with an elbow injury. There is some concern that it'll take more than the 2 weeks for Sizemore to come back. He has achiness in the elbow, but they are not ruling out arthroscopic surgery on the elbow.
Right. Eric Wedge saying that he wants, he wants the Sizemore to rest it for a couple weeks and see how it is. But you could see the numbers really down for Grady Sizemore.
Two and 0.
Trevor Crowe, 25 years old, Indians' #1 pick in 2005 out of the University of Arizona. Last year started in AA, went to AAA, started the season with the Indians, then sent down in early May. Recalled about a week ago.
2-1. Two and 1. Slowy to Crowe. 3-1. There has not been a walk in the game. Now that's less surprising with Slowy on the mound than the Cleveland staff, but Slowy's had a couple of 3-ball counts. He'll try to come back from this one and finish off the 7th inning. Shopik the next hitter. And that staggers Mauer. 3-2.
Well, take a look at this right here. This is a foul ball tip. It's getting Joe off the glove and then off the mask. Knocked you straight back.
Already saw his catcher take a beating on Saturday, and now he gets one off the mask in the 7th. 3-2. Runner goes. And the pitch fouled away. Pitch number 93 for Slowy. And another foul back.
Yeah, Slowy making his 11th start. 3-0 in the month of April. 4-1 in the month of May.
Tigers had two pitchers, Justin Verlander and Rick Porcello, each go 5-0 in the month. Which helps explain why the Tigers are in first place. Another 3-2 to Trevor Crowe. Little pop-up, should come back and reach the seats. And does. Red Sox have taken the Tigers to the bottom of the 9th, leading 5-1. So a chance for the Twins to perhaps pick up a game on first place Detroit. Wonder if anybody's even watching the Tigers with much interest with the Red Wings doing what they're doing in the Stanley Cup Finals. Slowy trying to put a persistent Trevor Crowe away here for the 21st out. And he walked him. Good plate appearance for Crowe. And now 2 men aboard with 2 gone, and Shopik coming to the plate.
And a rare walk by Kevin Slowy. Only his 6th of the year.
And Crowe fouled off what? 3, 4, 5. 2 strike pitches. Shopik has put it in play twice. That's the good news. The bad news, he's still 0 for 2 and now has a hitless string reaching 14 at bats. Dumped behind first. Going to be a tough play. Casilla streaking in, and the ball rolls free into foul territory. 2 runs will score, and Shopik drops a double down the right field line, and the Indians have cut the Twins lead in half.
Boy, Casilla kind of came out of nowhere. He got a glove on it, but I think he made contact with Justin right here. And the ball just trickles out of his glove and then down toward the Indians bullpen. Watch Casilla right here. Kind of catching up to the ball, and it tipped off of Justin's glove before it could get Casilla's glove.
So now Rick Anderson to the mound, and suddenly activity in the Twins bullpen.
Well, good effort right there by both those guys, because sometimes baseballs land in no man's land. That's exactly what happened right there. Great effort by Morneau and also Casilla. And a tough break right there for Kevin Slowy and the Twins.
And Cabrera warming up for the Twins, and let's figuratively at least tip our cap to Trevor Crowe, who had that long battle with Slowy. Ended up coaxing a walk against a guy who doesn't issue many walks. Shopik with some good fortune ends a long hitless streak. And now the Indians get the tying run to the plate, and Jamie Carroll.
Well, for Shopik, just his 4th double of the year.
Carroll wasn't even in the starting lineup, entered when Cabrera left. Outside a ball.
Now, Carroll started the season on the 15-day label list with a broken left hand, activated on May 12th. Carroll in his 2nd season with the Indians. He's Spent time with the Expos / Nationals, the Rockies, and now the Indians.
Twins had a tough time getting him out last year. He got 12 hits against the Twins last year. Well, the Twins got a couple of runs in the third when 4 straight batters reached. Now the Indians, with the bottom of their lineup, have had 3 straight batters reach. Up and in, 2-0.
Anderson getting on the phone. Matt Cabrera already up. Might be asking for a left-hander.
Pitch number 99 for Slowy. 2-1.
Jose Mahara starting. Looks like he's going to start loosening up.
And now 2-2. The Indians came into this game, in this series, with 13 pitchers. So in the first inning, they lose one of their position players to injury. There isn't much of a bench to speak of. Slowy, after retiring 11 men in a row, having a tough time getting the last out of the 7th. Check swing, and it fills the count. With hot Cleveland hitter Ben Francisco on deck.
Might be Slowy's last hitter right here.
Three and 2. Lost him. 4 straight have reached. And that will be the end of the night for Kevin Slowy. Things sailing along great here until Valbuena's single and a couple of walks and a flukish hit. The bottom line is the Indians knocked Slowy out in the 7th. Out innings, maybe a shot at an 8th shutout inning, and then all of a sudden it's gone.
Well, he got the first 2 outs very quickly, and this ball right here by Kelly Shopik, Justin just tipping it, and you can see Casilla probably would have been able to catch it, except for the little tip off the glove of Morneau, and that ball ends up trickling into the bullpen area of the Indians, and a couple runs score.
A couple of walks here in the 7th inning. And now Ben Francisco, who again was a very hot hitter for the Indians the last 2 weeks of May, comes up with the tying run at first and 2 away.
Well, Matt Cabrera making his 26th relief appearance. Had a very good month of May, 2.40 ERA, and the bullpen has really pitched a lot better as of late. Over the last 12 ball games since May 20th, the Twins bullpen has posted a 1.38 earned run average.
That's through Mauer, and the runners stay put. Twins got a break there. The carom from the backstop came right back to Mauer. And now Shopik is hurt at second base, and here comes Lonnie Soloff, the Cleveland trainer.
Yeah, it might be his ankle right there, because he took off for third and then kind of spun real quick to get back to second. See the ball scooting underneath the glove of Joe, but the ball coming right back to him. And watch Shopik right here. Right there, you could see him kind of twist maybe that right ankle as he limps back to second base.
Now, there is an option for the Indians. Shopik almost certainly will be able to stay in the game here, but because of what we talked about before, Martinez in the lineup as the first baseman, the Indians could slide him behind the plate and put Garco in at first base, but Eric Wedge you can't blame him if he's wondering what's going to happen next. Shopik will stay in, and Shopik's inability through the carom and maybe turning an ankle in not moving up, and just as importantly, Carroll behind him, the Indians don't have the tying run in scoring position.
I think Shopik did the right thing right there, because if Joe Mauer, how quick that ball came back to Joe Mauer, he would have been able to throw him out of third.
And a strike to Francisco. It's 2-1. This is a Cleveland team that a week or so ago was behind 10-0 and came back and won a ball game. So 4-0 is nothing for them. Swing and a foul. 2-2. Well, Francisco, I don't believe in this at bat, has seen Guerrero's breaking ball. Twins would like to put an end to this right now. Mauer blocks it, and it's another full count. Francisco 1 for 5 against Guerrero, but the one was a home run. So now with the full count, the runners will take off early. A little anxiety here in the dome. Struck him out. The Indians cut the lead in half, but they leave 2 on in the 7th, and Slowy's lead is preserved. Dodge. Grab life. And by Aflac. We've got you under our wing.
There's our Mountain Dew. Fans of the game, you are hereby circled, young men. From Lake Crystal, Minnesota. Kevin Slowy, the pitcher of record. Talking to pitching coach Rick Anderson. Slowy ended up throwing 102 pitches, 69 for strikes. His 5th straight quality start.
Lake Crystal just outside of Mankato, Minnesota. And here's Alexi Casilla against Tony Sipp. Down and away, ball 1. Now Sipp came in, got 3 quick outs, got the Indians off the field, and eventually they scored a couple of runs against Kevin Slowy. Now the Twins need to get back to work. It was Casilla's 2-out double that started the 2-run 3rd inning. 2-0. As impressive as Sipp was at the end of April against the Twins, again the walk numbers were high. They sent him down for more seasoning. 2-1. And teams do this against the Twins with the middle of the lineup being so heavily left-handed. They try to get as much left-handed relief pitching into the game as they can. And now Sipp having a hard time throwing it over. 3-1.
Well, down in AAA, made 9 appearances in AAA. He worked 13 innings. He struck out 18 with 6 walks.
3-1 to Casilla. And he issues a leadoff walk to the speedy Casilla. First Cleveland walk. And it comes leading off the 7th inning. This is where the game absolutely crumbled for the Indians yesterday. Good start by Aaron Laffey, and then the bullpen and Laffey conspired to walk 11 batters. Span with 2 hits and 2 runs scored. Red Sox beat the Tigers 5-1. Rays beat the Royals 6-2. Oakland leading Chicago 5-0 in the bottom of the 8th. Casilla, because he has not been on base as much as the Twins would have hoped, only has 2 steals and 2 tries. Span squares to bunt, pulls the bat back, and takes ball 1. No activity in the Cleveland bullpen. They'll let it ride with Sipp for a while. Span hitting left-handers better than right-handers, and think what a different world it would be if that were not the case. With all this left-handed pitching that the Twins are going to face, the Twins quite comfortable leaving Span in the leadoff spot. There really isn't another option on the team right now. That's bunted to the screen, 1-1. So Span knows he'll be in the lineup just about every day. He'll be hitting leadoff, largely because he's handled left-handed pitching so well.
If that was a sacrifice bunt right there, Span almost looked like he wanted to turn that into a I'm going to get a base hit type bunt rather than just square around. Twins would like to at least get one of them back, if not more.
2-1.
That's the old conventional, just turn around and lay down the bunt for the sacrifice.
Span has 4 of those. Punto leads the team with 5. Actually, Tolbert also has 5 sacrifice bunts. And Sip underhands it to Martinez, who makes the tag on Span. Good bunt. It will be a sacrifice credited for Span, with Casilla going to second.
That's exactly what he wanted to do right there. Scotty Alger gave him the sacrifice bunt sign. He bunted it to first base. Sip runs over, and it's Martinez that comes in and then goes back, and Sip flips it over to Martinez, and he makes the tag. So a good sacrifice bunt right there by Span.
In sacrificing, we'll see what the Indians do here. Yeah, in sacrificing, the Twins succeeded in taking the bat out of Mauer's hands here.
Yeah, but then you got to pitch to Justin, and you know.
Morneau had that big at bat against Sip in Cleveland that we'll talk more about when he gets there. But the Indians, Carl Willis and Eric Wedge, feeling a little bit more comfortable with Sip facing Morneau, having struck him out in a key spot, than trying to get Mauer out here. So first and second, one away. The situation was this: the Twins finally breaking through against Aaron Laffey, and they had the tying runs on. In fact, the bases were loaded, and they brought Sip in, who had just a handful of appearances for the Indians. And he struck out Morneau swinging and Kubel swinging. And the Twins put together a threat in the ninth against Kerry Wood, but couldn't break through and ended up losing that game in Cleveland 4-2. Veteran Greg Aquino warming up.
Well, we'll see what kind of defense now Carl Willis and Eric Wedge want to put on. Remember, with Justin up, the third baseman Carroll moved over to second, and now Carroll is playing his normal position at third, just a little deeper. Runner at second base.
Morneau bounced into a double play in the first, doubled in the third, and singled in the fifth.
That's where Carroll can't get too far off the bag, or Casillas going to steal third.
Right. Breaking ball and a swinging strike. If this is why Tony Sepp got the call up, the Indians hope it'll pay dividends right away. Oh, 0-2.
Two straight sliders from Sip to Morneau.
Two strikes to the Twins' first baseman. Tapper to short. And the strategy works great for the Indians. Sip gets Morneau again. And the Twins come up empty in the seventh. Have the lead going to the 8th inning, and the Twins bring Jose Mijares into the game.
Well, good job by Matt Cabrera, able to strike out Ben Francisco to end the 7th inning. Jose Mijares coming in, making his 17th relief appearance. Very good month of May. 0-1 with a 2.64 ERA. Good numbers all around for Mijares. 14 strikeouts in 16 2/3 innings with 7 walks, 1 intentional.
Victor Martinez leading things off for Cleveland. And Mijares delivers low, ball 1.
Not much difference between making him a left-handed hitter or a right-handed hitter. He came into the game hitting .362 as a right-hander, .343 as a left-hander. 4 home runs from both sides of the plate.
Mijares delivering ball 2, 2-0. Martinez, Chu, a left-handed batter, and then Peralta. Wild, high, and away, 3-0, and Mauer comes to the mound.
Yeah, no free passes right here. Joe's just going to sit down the middle, and Mijares needs to get some strikes over the plate.
To Victor Martinez. Right down the middle, 3-1.
He's going to have to do it again.
Deep to left. And it's a 1-run game. Martinez tags a Mijares fastball. And it's 4-3.
Well, you fall behind right there. You don't want to walk him. You challenge him, and Martinez beat him right there. Martinez hitting his 9th home run of the year. Came back with another fastball, and Martinez jumped all over it.
So it was 4-0. Now it's 4-3. And Shin-Soo Choo coming to the plate. Choo 1 for 3.
Only the 2nd career home run that Mijares has given up. The other one to Ken Griffey Jr. with the Mariners back here in early May.
And Choo uncoils and fouls it. Back to Mijares. 1 away. Mijares, although he's been effective, he's just given up the home run. He's been dreadfully tough against left-handed batters. The home run by Griffey, just one of 2 hits allowed to a left-handed batter. Left-handers against Mijares are now 2 for 25. 1 down, and here's Peralta. And I think Mijares just being told now by Paul Schreiber that you can't go to the mouth on the mound. I think the count is already 1-0 to Peralta. And exactly what Paul Schreiber is signaling. So that's in the dirt, and the count, even though that's the first pitch thrown, the count is 2-0.
I always wondered, if you're going to intentionally walk somebody, why you can't just go to your mouth 4 times without throwing a pitch.
And a big swing and a miss. Peralta 0 for 3, but again, he's beating a lot of the Cleveland hitters. Had a really good month of May. Great stop by Busher. Over to Morneau. A wicked one-hopper. And Busher got that first hop out of the dirt, 2 down.
Well, you play a little bit deeper like Busher did right there. You can play that one-hopper, and Busher, a little smile on his face right there. That was a rocket. Peralta getting good wood on it, and Busher. Wow, nice play.
It looked like that was really close to the edge of the carpet.
That's the only negative about playing deep third here, because you don't know where that ball might hit.
Yeah. Here's DeRosa with the bases clean and a chopper foul.
Baseball has a very good dental program.
And you never found out firsthand, did you?
Came close a couple times when whistling past my head.
I've heard Armin Killebrew tell the story and Jim Cott tell the story about how Jim needed a dental plan back in the early 60s.
And you know what that did right there? You gave him 16 rolling gold gloves because he worked his tail end off to be able to field his position, and nobody did better than Jim Cott.
Little low on the 0-2 pitch. Very close pitch.
Yeah, Mahara started walking toward the dugout.
Didn't have the knees. Sure looked like it.
Again, it's where it crosses the plate, not where the catcher catches it.
1-2. And now 2-2. Valbuena is the next scheduled hitter. Crane and Nathan warming up. Drilled to center. Gomez won't catch it. It stays in the ballpark. And a solid double off the bat of Mark DeRosa. And the Indians again have the tying run in scoring position. And we'll see if Valbuena comes up or whether Garco might hit. And it's going to be Garco.
Well, that 0-2 pitch ends up being a ball, so Maharis has to throw a couple more pitches. And it's a fastball. Gomez getting it back in quickly. DeRosa picks up his first hit on it on his 10th double of the year.
So Garco getting loose, and as soon as he's announced, we might expect the Twins to come out and make a pitching change. And it might be one of the rare times when Joe Nathan will be asked to get an out in the 8th inning. Jesse Crane obviously has been struggling. Ron Gardenhire yelling to Paul Nauert, the third base umpire, and it is going to be Nathan trying to get the final out of the 8th, and then presumably the 3 outs in the 9th. it really stands out when it does happen. Joe Nathan asked to come in and get the final out of the 8th inning with the tying run at second, and that's another rarity. This will be the first inherited runner Nathan has pitched with this year, because he always comes in, of course, to start the inning.
All right, Joe making his 21st relief appearance, asked to get 4 outs here rather than the 3 he's normally asked to get. Looking very good. 2.33 ERA for Nathan. 21 strikeouts in 19 1/3 innings with only 5 walks, 1 intentional.
Garco 1 for 5 against Nathan Lifetime with a double. So Garco hitting for Valbuena. The Indians with a late inning surge against the Twins. Two in the 7th, 1 so far here in the 8th. Ball 1. His career numbers as a pinch hitter.
Yeah, 0 for 3 this year.
Indians just 10 pinch hitting at bats this season with 3 hits. And that gets by Mauer, a wild pitch, allowing DeRosa to move to third base. And it's 2-0.
Well, looked like the hard slider right there, and it kind of one-hopped Joe and got behind him. Mauer trying to get in front of this, but the ball getting through him to the backstop. For Nathan, his first wild pitch of the year.
Tying run 90 feet away. A's have shut out the White Sox 5-0 tonight in Chicago. Little roller to second, and Casilla makes the play. Garco retired. Nathan gets the final out of the 8th. It's a 1-run game going to the bottom of the inning.
Lead into the bottom of the 8th inning. Welcome back. I'm Robbie Smikowski, and make sure you stay tuned for Quest Twins Live featuring the Toyota postgame wrap. We'll talk about why Joe Mauer is mashing 3 hits, including a 2-run home run for the Twins catcher. Curveball is key. Kevin Slowy had it working early, and he had it working often. And the art of playing first base, that is our instructional tonight with Roy Smalley and Bert Blyleven. So stay tuned immediately following the game with Anthony LaPanta and Roy Smalley. It's Quest Twins Live, guys.
Thank you, Robbie. Joe Nathan simply not used to that. He got the final out of the 8th. Now he has to sit and watch. Usually matters are decided when he walks off the mound. He's typically got a save. Rare instances where things haven't worked out for Joe. The game is over. But we will play on with Kubel swinging at the first pitch from Tony Sipp. 1-1. Maharis gave up a home run and a double. Nathan cleaned up the 8th inning. Two and one. Jamie Carroll at second base. Mark DeRosa coming in from right field, taking over at third with Garcos in right, and Kubel flaring one foul. 2-2.
There's Ryan Garco out in right field.
So Kubel trying to get something started against Sipp, who has not given up a hit in 2 innings. 2 walks, one of them intentional. Got him looking. So Tony Sipp shining again against the Twins.
A good hard breaking ball right there. He gets his first strikeout. And Eric Wedge on his way out to make a pitching change.
Your name or your family's name can be etched in glass permanently at Target Field as part of the beautiful Tradition Wall. The Tradition Wall will have the name of every player in Twins history, and you can be a part of that tradition. Please visit twinsbaseball.com or call 877-TWIN-WALL to learn more about the Twins Tradition Wall at Target Field. Hoping to win a tight one tonight. Brendan Harris will be the first man that Greg Aquino pitches to.
Aquino in his first season with the Indians, last year with the Baltimore Oriole organization, did come up for 9 ball games, was also pitched for the Diamondbacks and the Brewers. Aquino with a good sinking fastball, slider, and a changeup. That's a slider right there.
9 walks, 2 of them intentional, in 8 1/3 innings, and he delivers strike 1, painting the corner to Brendan Harris. Now he comes in with a hard riding fastball, and it's 0-2. One and two.
Well, that fastball has some sink and movement to it. Aquino, 30 years old, from the Dominican Republic.
I mentioned he's a veteran. He's been around a while. Pitched some in both leagues. Chopped foul.
He started the season in the minor leagues. AAA Columbus for the Indians, got called up on May 17th. Has always been a reliever. 135 relief appearances coming into this year. A 5.40 ERA.
Sharply hit into center field. Peralta couldn't flag it down, and Harris has his second hit of the night.
Well, he left that slider up, and Harris took advantage of it. Second straight time tonight, Harris has found that hole right to the left of the shortstop. Right back up the middle. Peralta dives for it and gets by him, scoots by him.
So Harris aboard with one out, and here's Delmon Young. 0 for 3, a couple of strikeouts and a fly to right. Strike one. Twins have a chance on picking up a game on everybody in the division. The other three teams have lost, and if the Twins win here tonight, obviously Cleveland will lose. Just a one-run game right now with Young at the plate and a man aboard. 1-1. You look at some of the numbers that the Indians relievers have put up. And of course, the injuries and all that you really can't do much about. You just have to deal with them as best you can. But there are some frightful control numbers. We mentioned the Indians have issued more walks than anybody else in baseball. So here's Aquino, who's been around 9 walks, 8 1/3 innings. Even Rafael Betancourt, who they put on the disabled list yesterday, 14 walks in 26 2/3 innings.
Well, you know, there's so many different views of why the relievers' ERAs are high. I mean, Cleveland, they're 12th in the American League as far as combined ERA in that bullpen, 5.01. Yankees and the Angels have higher ERAs out of the bullpen.
Bouncer cut off at third by DeRosa. Out at second base, and Young will reach in a fielder's choice. DeRosa with a nice pickup of that ground ball headed toward the hole, and it's out number 2.
Yeah, very nice play right here because DeRosa dives for the ball, knocks him down, and then quickly gets up and able to get Harris at second base on the force out as Carroll's there to cover the bag.
Here's Busher with a runner at first and 2 away. Kelly Shopik's done a nice job throwing out runners this year. We'll see if the Twins are tempted to send Delmon Young, and they check him right away with Busher at the plate. Swing and a miss, 1 strike. Busher, a couple of outfield flies and a ground ball to second. All of that against left-handed pitching. Facing a right-hander, Aquino, for the first time tonight. Out in front, another swing and a miss. 0-2. Just off the plate. 1-2. And Nathan waiting and waiting and waiting, having gotten the Twins out of a jam in the 8th. 3 more outs to get. Dug out by Shopik, and it's 2-2. Only one other game going in the American League. Seattle leading Baltimore 3-0 in the 4th inning. Ichiro already has a hit, extending his hitting streak to 26 games. The Mariners are up next for the Twins after this 3-game series. Full count. And Young will take off from first now. And the Twins hope to get Joe Creedy back in the lineup tomorrow after fouling a ball off the inside of his left knee a few days ago.
Busher needs an extra base hit right here.
Young goes, and Busher swings through another one. So the Cleveland bullpen getting the job done here, keeping the Indians in the game, and it's a 1-run lead.
AT&T Rapid Rewind. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered.
Joe Nathan starts the 9th inning after getting the last out of the 8th, facing Trevor Crowe. Ball 1.
Well, a Jeep game reset. Joe Mauer, good night at the plate. 3 for 3 with his 12th home run of the year with 3 RBIs. And for the Indians, Martinez with a 2-run home run, or excuse me, solo home run in the 8th.
And Nathan clips the outside corner to even the count. Strike 2. The only bench player available for Eric Wedge is catcher utility player Chris Jimenez. So the scheduled batters, and likely the batters that Nathan will face, Crowe, Shopik, and Carroll. Strike him out. One down.
Well, good high fastball right there. Nathan picking up a strikeout. Kevin Slowy struck Crow out in the 5th inning on a good high fastball. Yeah, that fastball right there just overpowers the youngster.
And now Shopping. 1 for 3 with a Texas League double off the gloves of Morneau and Casilla in the 7th inning that drove in the first 2 Cleveland runs. 96 on your screen, and it looked all of that from up here. 1-0. And he backs it up with a cutter at 90. Slider. 1-1. A high fly to center. Gomez slams on the brakes and now backpedals out number 2. And that'll leave it for Jamie Carroll.
Well, not too often. I think a couple times last year Joe Nathan was asked to get maybe more than 3 outs to get a save. And he's 1 out here from getting his 10th save of the year.
Right down the middle. Ooh. Just off the plate, 1-1. Carroll entered the game after Cabrera went out with a shoulder injury. We've not gotten word as to the severity of it, but it did not look good. To center, and the Indians keep the game alive, and Francisco will have a chance with 2 gone and 1 man aboard.
Well, Carroll getting his first hit. And for the Indians, their 9th.
Francisco has never faced Joe Nathan, and he'll face him here with the game on the line. 1 for 4 on the night, a single way back in the 3rd inning. One strike. Is that a cutter he's throwing in the low 90s?
Yeah, I was talking to Rick Anderson. He's come up with a little cutter. He's worked on a changeup, just trying to add to his repertoire.
I mean, his slider is typically 85, 86, something like that. This is something in between. 1 strike to Francisco. And another one.
That's more the slider right there, the bigger break, the downward break, a nasty slider down and away. You would almost think he'd want to do it again. He tried, but Francisco laid off of it. That's either a great take or I can't hit it anyway. I'm not going to swing.
One and 2 to Francisco.
Paul Schreiber flinched.
He sure did.
Watch the umpire right here. He wanted to call it. Oh. Pretty good pitch.
Well, remember back in the 7th inning when the Indians got a close call that wasn't called a strike, and they took advantage of it. 2-2 to Francisco. And now 3-2 with Victor Martinez on deck. And this is the guy Nathan wants to get. Martinez is, well, he is one of the better hitters in baseball. And Nathan's going to try to leave him in the on-deck circle. So that one big take by Francisco, and eventually now the count's been filled. Carroll will leave early from first. Fouled back.
Boy, let that slider up right there, and Francisco fouled it straight back.
Francisco really opened up his hips and gave it a healthy swing. This will be Nathan's 20th pitch of the night, and uncharacteristically those pitches spread out over 2 different innings. Another 3-2 to Francisco. High fly left field. Young back, has room. Game over. And the Twins win the opener against the Indians. Denard Span with a good ball game. He reached twice, dropped down a sacrifice. Joe Mauer, a big night. West Twins Live comes your way next with the Twins winning